Well, that stopped me in my tracks. Oh, welcome to Nichols Retirement Empire, land of the wild animals. Got my turkeys from yesterday. A snake from today. Hopefully that'll be the last snake I see today. I'm not like super scared of snakes, but I have a healthy respect for snakes. But I don't like just go out and kill snakes at random, because I know there are some snakes that, you know, they do good. They're killing rodents, they're killing poisonous snakes, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, everybody out there has some snake stories. I guess I'll tell you a couple of my snake stories since I just saw a snake. It's fall. There's a lot of leaves, you know, on the trail here and everything. And I am scared of copperheads and sticks that look like copperheads. The ground that looks like a copperhead. Anything that's like a copperhead. Because I've seen them out here on this trail, so I keep an eye out for them. Those people I classify as the snake defenders. You know, everything about snakes are good. They are the most noble creatures that God created and all this kind of stuff. They are snake supporters in every sense of the word. And 99% of them are like that until they're walking down the trail and they're right next to a copperhead, or they see that snake that I just saw crossing the trail. Then all of a sudden, they're in the boat with everybody else. Tammy, my wife, has a cousin that lives in Tennessee. And he found this huge, I mean, a monster rattlesnake in his backyard where his kids play. He did what any dad would have done where his kids play. He killed the snake. Okay, so that's not the end of the story. Because social media is so cool, he decided that he needed to post this huge dead snake, rattlesnake, on social media. And when he posted it on social media, of him holding up this snake that was as long as he is, everybody was like, oh, cool, man, that's a... Well, the next knock on his door was the Tennessee Wildlife Resource agents giving him a ticket for killing an endangered species. That's just live and learn kind of a thing. So if you kill an endangered rattlesnake, don't post it on YouTube. Just get rid of it and dispose of it. And then thank God that your kids didn't get bit and killed by this endangered species that wandered into your yard. And he paid a hefty fine for that, for killing that snake. Poisonous, deadly snake that was in his yard. So there's one story. Another story, me and my wife used to teach a singles Sunday school class at one of the churches we went to, and there were a lot of people in it. And so we got this idea one time that we were going to do a camp out. Tammy's dad owns 4 apartments that are all right next to each other that they built on Lake Weiss in Alabama. You know, the guys stay in one apartment and the girls stay in the other apartment, and you know, and everybody, it was a lot of fun. There was an old couch that was in the garage part of where the apartments are, and we were gonna get this couch, and it would open up like into a bed, and we were gonna bring it into one of the apartments so we could have extra space for guys to sleep. So we went in there into the garage, and me and this other guy grabbed hold of the couch, and we were going to open it up to see, you know, whether the bed was any good in it and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, we opened it up and out comes a snake. And it was just like a rat snake or something. It wasn't anything, you know, to be afraid of. But we had one guy, when he saw that snake, he ran out of that garage so fast. I mean, he was knocking the girls out of the way, and he was terrified. I mean, he just turned and ran. And it reminded me of that time on Seinfeld when they had the apartment was supposedly caught on fire, and that guy George on Seinfeld ran over all the old ladies and knocked them down while he was trying to get out of the apartment. That's what it reminded me of. See, another story. This is my favorite one. We were camping out with our, you know, my aunt and uncle and his kids, because we were all about the same age. And so it was a big camp out, and we were there for like a week. And it was a real camp out. It was, you know, no electricity, you know, staying in tents, all that kind of stuff. You know, really roughing it, really primitive. But anyway, we would do that, you know, a lot back then. And so this place where we were staying was somebody's property, and they had a nice dock and like a boat house at the end of the dock. And we, you know, would all get out there on the dock and jump in the water and swim. I was probably, I don't know, maybe 12 years old. And we were out in the water swimming. It was me, my sister, my cousin, my older cousin. He probably was a year or 2 years, probably maybe a couple years older than me, I think. And you know, probably one or two of his sisters. So we're all out there in the water, and he sees a snake wrapped around the ladder where you climb up to get on the dock. And like I said, it was a big dock, so there was actually more than one ladder. But he was about to go, you know, put his hand on this ladder and climb up this ladder. And so naturally, when he got up there close to this ladder and he's getting her, and he looks and he sees a snake, he freaks out. Snake, snake, you know, he's screaming and hollering, oh, snake. And of course, you might as well have yelled shark, because we were all getting out of the water. And my mom and my aunt came running down there, and my dad and my uncle they were fishing, so they weren't there. And so here comes my mom and aunt, get out of the water, get out of the water, you know, and they're screaming. And it was like something off of Jaws, you know. It's everybody's trying to get out. And everybody's, you know, crying and all this stuff. And so we got out, and once we got out, we're like looking at each other on the dock, and we look out there, and my sister's still out there, abandoned. She was on a float. So she's like splashing around on this float, because, you know, you can't swim fast on a float. And she's just, somebody get me. You know, and none of us, nobody, was interested in jumping out there to save my sister, who was way over there on the float from the snake. It was right over here. So she's floundering around out there doing her best to survive. And we're all looking down at the snake, and my mom and my aunt knew my dad had a pistol, or my uncle, somebody had a pistol. You know, it was, you know, we live in the South, everybody's got guns. So we get the pistol, they bring it down there, and they're gonna shoot this snake. We're gonna kill it. And so my sister's probably still out there swimming around, you know, because I remember us not being able to shoot because of my sister being out there in the water. So we had to, at that time, commit to getting her out of the water. So we did. We got her out of the water, okay? So then my mom is like, okay, I'm gonna shoot it. And I remember begging her, let me shoot it. I know how to shoot a gun. You know, I'm old enough to shoot a gun. No, I wanna shoot it. Now I might have been younger than what, I could be off a couple of years or whatever on my age. But I do remember this. I did not cry. I was not crying from fear of the snake. So I can confidently say that. Not crying. So, everybody else. But anyway, so I'm begging her, let me shoot it. And she's like, no, I'll do it. And so she shoots, and of course, you know, she misses it. And she shoots, probably shoots again and misses it. Well, by now, you'd think the snake would have been long gone. Because, I mean, it seems like 30 minutes of total chaos. It's probably been more like a minute and a half. But anyway, you would think the snake would be long gone. But it was still there. And so when she shot at it, it started swimming off through the water. So we're giving her all this helpful advice like, you gotta cock it again, you gotta aim for the head, like she ain't gonna be able. And I don't remember how big this snake was, but it wasn't big. I remember that it was not big. I didn't want to get bit by it, but I remember it wasn't big. So she's trying to shoot it, aim for the head. She's, not hitting anything, but she's just hitting the water. She shoots about 4 or 5 times, and we're all just, ah. And so a little bit later, of course, we never killed the snake. My uncle and my dad came back in the boat, and they're like, what was going on? We heard like gunshots and stuff. We're like, there was a snake. It was in the water. And Tommy almost touched it. And Lisa was stuck on the float. And Mama tried to shoot it. We're telling the whole story. And so I remember them like, well, we'll see if we can find it. So, they kind of paddle around out there in the boat for a little bit. And of course, they never did see a snake. But in our minds, that place was infested with a nest of water moccasins, and we didn't get in the water the rest of the vacation. If I don't think any more snake stories, have a good day on Nichols Retirement Empire. Keep an eye out for those copperheads on the trails, and be safe in the water.